We often hear about professional certifications and wonder, are they keeping up, or are they just a rubber stamp for yesterday's skills? The CompTIA Data Plus certification is facing that exact question in 2026, and its new update might have the answer.
It's a big question. The entire landscape for entry-level data roles is shifting. The original Data Plus exam, the DA0001, is officially being retired on April 14th, 2026.
Right? And it's being replaced by this new V2 version, the DA0002. It's a 90-minute exam, about 90 questions, and costs $255. But the big headline is that it now forces you to prove you understand cloud and AI, not just basic databases on a local machine.
Exactly. And that $255 price point is a steal compared to some of the really specialized data science tracks. But what's fascinating is the cloud-first pivot. They've realized that in 2026, data doesn't just sit in an Excel file on your desktop anymore. It lives in containers and is spread across distributed cloud environments. By April 2026, if you're not testing on cloud and AI integration, you're basically certifying for a world that doesn't exist.
So it sounds like they've completely modernized the where of data. But what about the how? Let's break down the actual weight of the exam modules to see where the real points are won.
That's where it gets interesting. The exam is split into 5 modules, but they're not weighted equally.
Okay, so the heavy hitters are data analysis at 24% and data acquisition and preparation at 22%. Then you have visualization and data concepts both at 20%, with governance rounding it out at 14% to cover things like privacy and compliance.
It's a very practical split. If you look at those numbers, they're basically telling you that nearly half your job, 46% of your score, depends on your ability to find and clean data. It's rewarding the janitors of the data world just as much as the architects. It's not just about making pretty charts. It's about the grit of handling missing values and outliers before you even get to build a dashboard.
That 14% for governance seems a bit small on the surface, but given the V2 update, is that the secret sauce here?
Absolutely. You could argue it's the most important 14% on the exam. In 2026, data privacy isn't a nice to have, it's a legal requirement. By including it as a core pillar, CompTIA is making sure that entry-level hires don't accidentally land their new companies in a massive compliance lawsuit on their first day. It's a safety rail.
So it's a balanced, ready-to-work framework. But the big question remains, with all the specialized tools out there from Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, is this broad, general certification actually worth the time and money?
The career numbers are pretty staggering. You're looking at a median salary range of $85,000 to $110,000 for certified individuals. Plus, job demand is projected to grow 36% over the next decade.
And it's a vendor-neutral cert, right? Meaning it's not tied to a specific programming language like SQL or Python, but more about the general logic of how data works.
That vendor-neutral part is the real selling point. Think of it as a universal translator for your career. It doesn't teach you how to drive a Ford or a Tesla. It teaches you how to navigate the entire road system. It's the ultimate insurance policy for a career switcher, because you understand the underlying data lifecycle no matter what specific tool a company uses.
Got it? So it's for beginners or people switching careers?
Yes, but we have to be honest. If you've been a senior data analyst for 3 years, this is probably a waste of your time. This is a level 1 map. If you're already deep in the trenches, you need to be looking at something more advanced, like CompTIA's own Data AI Cert, or other specialized engineering certifications.
That makes sense. It's about knowing where you are on the career ladder. If you're at the bottom looking up, this is your ladder. So, if you do decide to go for it, how do you actually pass this thing in under 2 months?
For those ready to pull the trigger, the strategy is a 4 to 8 week sprint. The key is to spend about 60% of your time on those 2 big modules we mentioned, data acquisition and data analysis.
And you can't just read a book, right? The guide says it's all about scenario-based learning now.
Exactly. The V2 exam has practical, hands-on questions. You can't fake your way through a SQL query or a data cleaning exercise. You have to actually practice in a lab environment. My favorite advice from the prep strategy is fragmented learning. Do an hour a day to keep the info fresh, but don't burn yourself out before you do your deep dive practice labs on the weekend. The exam doesn't care what you know, it cares what you can do with a broken dataset.
So, to wrap this all up, if you had to boil it down for someone listening who is on the fence, what are the absolute key takeaways?
Okay, 4 things. First, the deadline. The old exam is gone by April 2026, so focus only on the new V2 version with its cloud and AI focus. Second, the money modules. 46% of your score is in data acquisition and analysis, so master the prep work. Third, its value is in being vendor neutral. It's recognized almost everywhere, and it's a stepping stone to more advanced certs. And finally, the numbers don't lie. With a median salary hitting 6 figures and huge job growth, it's still the gold standard for getting your foot in the door of the data world in 2026.